creative writing in foreign language teaching arkadaşlar. Let's start explaining creativity. What is creativity? As you see, there are so many explanations about creativity. Daring to be different, for example, or the ability to express yourself freely. I'm choosing some expressions. Doing the same thing over and over again, or adapting the rules to suit the situation in that way. But I like so much Einstein's point of view about creativity. According to him, it is the intelligence having fun. And creativity can take part in every field of life, as well as in language learning arkadaşlar. As we know, language consists of the functional integration of listening, speaking, reading, and writing arkadaşlar. These four skills must be taught together when teaching language as a means of communication in real life. Writing is called the fourth and the last communicative skill by Finocchiaro. And Lado defines writing as the ability to use the language graphic representation in ordinary written situations arkadaşlar. More specifically, learning to write involves choosing the right vocabulary items to express one's thoughts using the grammatical patterns of language correctly, and observing certain conventions of spelling, punctuation, and paraphrase. As a result of the studies of psychologists and educators in the 70s, it is understood that intelligence tests measure the capacity to overcome difficulties in a logical order, but also ignores the existing productive aspects of human intelligence. As you see in the picture, there are so many functions for the left and right brain, different functions which integrate within themselves and with each other. I'm left brain, I'm right brain, and there are also many studies about these in this field, that which part of your brain is more dominant arkadaşlar. We can also measure our brain activities according to these studies. And studies have shown that there are two different ways of thinking arkadaşlar. The first is convergent thinking. This means the ability to give the correct answer to standard questions that do not require significant creativity, like tasks in school and standardized multiple choice tests for intelligence. And the second is divergent thinking, that occurs in a spontaneous, free-flowing, non-linear manner, such that many ideas are generated in an emergent cognitive fashion. Many possible solutions are explored in a short amount of time, and unexpected connections are drawn, as you see in the picture. Writing activities using convergent thinking in traditional school environments can be boring, immobile, and dull, since they activate the cognitive field. On the other hand, divergent thinking reflects the individual social characteristics and experiences. Thus, we can say that it activates affective fields. So, writing activities that support both convergent and divergent thinking can promote having original and like arkadaşlar. Since divergent thinking creates a spontaneous and free-flowing process, after the 80s, we can see a process-oriented approach in which writing activities we see instead of product-oriented approach. So writing is considered as a process through which meaning is created, being creative means being able to write new and original ideas arkadaşlar. And it can be said that the emergence of creative writing in foreign language teaching is influenced by Romanticism. In Rousseau's novel Emile, the concept of a child is described as closer to nature than a civilized person and not degenerated by society. According to Rousseau, children to grow. And also, according to Torrance, the father of creativity, in 1962, said that creativity is being aware of missing elements, to think and make assumptions about them, being sensitive to problems and the lack of information, identifying difficulties, finding solutions, and making predictions. And creativity exists in every kind of emotional and mental activity. Creativity is sometimes described as the ability to think fluently, arkadaşlar. The emergence of creativity as a branch of science, arkadaşlar, first begins with the literary movement, new criticism, seen between 20s and 60s in American universities, in order to support literary studies with a humanistic approach. Also, after this movement, we see the changes in foreign language teaching also. And the original of creative writing especially is based on Piaget's view called new methods, arkadaşlar. According to Piaget, children cannot be seen as young adults because they do not have the same rational functions as adults. He argues that their interests should be encouraged in order to receive information, while the traditional school point of view imposes all activities. The new school understanding incorporates improvised and original activities based on the needs and interests of the students. In this context, the purpose of creating writing in foreign language learning is to address the needs of interests of the students in a dynamic set of activities so that they can express their selves and recreate their inner experiences, which we can call intellectual studies, arkadaşlar. Then I would like to talk about the process-oriented approach. The process-oriented approach emphasizes a series of stages as pre-writing, the writing process, and post-writing. The student writes, starting to answer these questions. What will I write? How can I write? How do I start writing? The writing process is a creative act and requires time and positive feedback to be done well. During pre-writing activities, teachers stimulate students' creativity by getting them to have ideas with some tools like magazines, newspapers, periodicals, radio, TV, internet, experiences, movies, documentaries, music, visual art, dreams, memories, discussion and brainstorming, imagination, personal interest inventories, class interest inventory, research, and role play. And through these tools carried out during the pre-writing process, students can write in an environment where they are not judged. This is the most important point. Emotional pressure and fear of criticism are minimized. In addition, writing desire, curiosity, and interaction are maximized. At this point, students can use activities like lists, topic or word charts, or graphic organizers like Lipkevich and Mazurenko, 1999, as they mentioned. And During writing process, students write without paying much attention to accuracy. This is the important point. The most important feature is meaning. They concentrate on the content of the writing with these questions. Is it coherent? Is there any missing? Anything extra? During writing process, students work together to do activities like group compositions or fast writing. With these activities, we have their first draft with their ideas composed on paper. And after that, students can do revising activities. There are 4 types of changes: adding, rearranging, removing, replacing, and that's all. And for adding, for example, students can ask what else the reader needs to know. For rearranging, if the information is in the most logical order. For removing, what extra details are not necessary in this piece of writing. And for replacing, what words could be replaced by clearer or stronger expressions. Students make this process by creating read-around groups where every anonymous composition is to get a general idea. Then on a separate sheet of paper, they can write their comments and grade all of them. And during the stage of editing, students can focus on one area, such as punctuation, grammar, or capitalization, etc. Advanced students can focus on more the activities. Students can do self-editing or peer editing, as I gave in the example of Louisiana Department of Education. And whether they see or hear any errors in the sentence. Using this, for example, checklist, students can make peer editing, as an example I gave. And as a post-writing activity, the students prepare the final version, and then they need to have a response for their writing. It helps to clarify their work, generate new ideas, and most importantly, validate what they have written. At this point, there are 2 possibilities. Either they can share between them the bulletin board or the printed class newspaper, or in nowadays, more technologically, they can use blogs or create an online magazine. At this point, our learning management system, Blackboard, or other learning management systems like Moodle are useful. There are many features, and the teacher can encourage post-writing activities like positive feedback through these systems, like we can use, and I'm using wikis or discussion boards on Blackboard. Now, I want, after this theoretical framework, I would like to talk about how I integrated a creative writing activity in one of my courses. This is the course of Italian art and culture. I have done this activity with my students. Their level is A2 level. My objective is in lesson, during my lesson, is to introduce them famous Italian people. This is the introduction of our book, I Come Italia. And while introducing famous Italian people, I wanted to review past continuous and present perfect tense also, the grammatical and vocabulary part of the lesson. And as you see, for example, here, I introduced them Laura Pausini, and singer, and Paolo Sorrentino, famous Italian director, and Miuccia Prada, famous Italian designer, and Massimo Bottura, famous Italian cook, I can say. And after introducing these famous people, in order to integrate my creative activity, I found a very famous song, Volare. First, I introduced the singer of the song, Domenico Modugno, and with the song, they met for the first time Domenico Modugno. They didn't know this singer, and I put extraordinary activity at the end of my project. This is writing a poem. It's a very extraordinary activity for them. They don't read poems or they don't know poets, but I introduced them a contemporary Italian poet, Guido Catalano. They like him so much. We read one of his poems. Then, in order to make more significant their divergent thinking, this is my activity. I made them listen the song. Here they have to complete the song with present and past continuous tense, and I want them to express their feelings while they are listening and looking the song also, because it was a video. And then after reviewing past continuous and present perfect tense, they wrote. These are for the activities, true, false activities, and a cloze test about the song. Then finally, I made them groups, and they wrote poems together. First, they hesitated so much. These are their writings, arkadaşlar, in 3, in 4, because they were so afraid of writing poems. It was very extraordinary for them. They wrote poems. I didn't control them. They used their dictionaries. They helped each other. And yes, there are some errors on poems, but I didn't say anything because they are writings. And between them, they have chosen the best one. These are other examples. And this is the last one of my 3 students. Thank you so much. I finished my presentation. If you have questions, yeah, one. They were so pretty, huh? They were so pretty. They didn't say me no, huh? They tried to write poems with me. Thank you, Elma. Thank you. Grazie a te. Thank you, Ayse. Thank you. Thank you, Funda. Thank you, Pınar. Thank you, Evrim Hocam. Thank you, Axel Hocam. Thank you, Charles. Thank you. Thank you, Neca. Thank you, Yuan. Thank you. Thank you, Dilekçim. Thank you, Bahar Hocam. Thank you. Thank you, Yen. Thank you, Elifçim. Thank you, Simon. Thank you so much, Hocam. Hocam çıkıyorum ben. Murat Hocam.
Tamamdır.
Tamam hocam. Görüşmek üzere. Hoşça kalın.
Güle güle.
Hoşça kal.